What's up, everybody? Welcome to the PixelPlay Podcast. My name is Adam, aka CS Radical, joined as always, Kaylan, aka K Catastrophe, Chris, aka Jin and Chris, and yes, I did not do any random bits for the intro this time, so yeah!
Nailed it.
Except that was kind of a random bit right there.
Once in a while, I can pull out something relatively normal. I can't guarantee it'll happen again, though.
No, guaranteed not. That was the one.
We got a lot to talk about. Weirdly enough, normally around this time it starts to die down, but then Rockstar decided to go, no, we have to do something. And now the entire gaming atmosphere is cleared up because they realize, oh, we have a whole fall we can release games in now. So buckle up, guys. May is going to be a busy month for announcements. I almost can guarantee you on that. So we'll have plenty to talk about hopefully this month. But obviously, Grand Theft Auto 6 just got a release date. We have a new trailer to look into. We also got some Xbox price hikes to be aware of. And for us Canadians here, EB Games is getting rebranded, GameStop is getting rebranded back to EB Games because it's like the Skydome. We just didn't forget. We still call it EB Games for the most part. It just hasn't left. Yeah. But now it's correct again, and we're okay with that. But before that, as we always do, time to talk about what we've been up to. I don't have much to talk about. I'm just a little bit further into Claire Obscure. Goddamn Toronto Maple Leafs actually winning a playoff round. I don't have as much gaming time right now because they're actually playing meaningful games. I know, sad story to have a team that's marginally successful.
Adam doesn't have as much time to play video games because he has to watch sports.
Well,
shut up, Adam.
To be fair, there was in Game 5 the Leafs kind of were playing like babies. So you know what? It was kind of like being Kaylan for 3 hours, and then it wasn't, and then it was cool again. So that was great. But other than that, I haven't gotten too much further. Chris, I don't know if you've gotten that much deeper into it. I've I've just finally finished Act 1 and have now gotten the new traversal ability, and I've just been kind of exploring the map. I haven't gotten to the story since Act 2 started.
Okay. I am a bit further than you, but I am still in Act 2.
Like, have you gone to that first mission place you got to swim across for?
Yes.
Okay, so yes. I've just been dicking around a little bit. Mind you, I've maybe put like 2-3 hours tops more into it since we last spoke, so it's been a bit of a busier week for me. I will say I'm not surprised by the results that happened at the end of Act 1. It's more of a case of, great, so a thing happened that I'm not surprised happened, but then you added 5 more questions to now me needing an answer for. Great. I love this. I love that this game continuously doesn't answer any questions and just adds more to the list. Loving it. But hey, I'm not gonna lie, it's still a blast regardless. But I mean, I will say at this point, like, I'm hooked. I'm just not hooked to the amount of I'm gonna put 10 hours into this game a day. This is just the thing that I'm looking forward to every time I boot it up. It's just not happening as much as I'd like to. And I will say, now that I've messed around with it a little bit more, Chris, I'm not nearly as concerned about the number of ability types or the pictos as I was. Originally, I'm like, there's gonna be way too much shit. And now that I'm like, no, I know which stuff I need. It's fine.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the pictos, they look overwhelming, but they're actually fine.
Like in the end, you're just like, okay, my guys are built to just deal a shit ton of damage, so I'm going to increase things that do burn, I'm going to increase things that mark, and I'm going to do increasing things that do damage. I don't need to worry about healing that much because I'm actually doing pretty well at dodging, so it's fine. We're just going to focus on one thing and be cool with it. And the game was like, sure, go ahead and do that. Here's an ability that Mael has that can do 9999 damage if you set it up perfectly. And I go, thanks, game. I will do that. And I will come back to you later. And that's exactly what I've been doing for the last little while. So it's kind of like how I enjoy Trails for being able to break certain things. I'm kind of starting to have a little bit of fun doing that in Expedition 33. So now it's just, now that the gameplay isn't bothering me really at all at this point, it's a matter of just getting deep enough into the story that I can finally have the hooks fully sink in. Because I'm still in that mode of, what the fuck's happening? And now I'm just waiting for here's what's happening, now see if you can get the fuck out of it.
I'm so excited for this game. It's on my radar.
Once you got into Act 2, how much deeper, hour-wise, how much deeper into Act 2 have you gotten, you think?
Oh, I think I'm about 6 hours ahead of you.
Okay. So yeah, you've definitely gotten the chance to put a lot more. This is the problem with me also grind whoring in MLB as much as I do, that, you know, whenever I want a podcast game, I can just play that, and that takes up way too much time because Lord knows I've got hockey going on, and there might be a bunch of shit going on in the world that's kind of important to pay attention to. So I've kind of been busy with podcasts recently too. It's not helping. I know Kaylan's just playing the world's tiniest violin for me here, but
yeah, no, you two are basically the same with your responsibilities, 100%.
Yeah, you know,
100%.
I'm not acknowledging this at all.
It's okay. I'm gonna come. I got Victoria Day week off. I'm gonna come back on the show and specifically tell Kaylan, hey, you want to know how many games I finished in the last week? And it won't even be short games. Like, I'll come in and be like, I finished Clear Obscure. I did the Lunar remaster. I finished Oblivion, just to throw that there and be like, yeah, I did all of that in a week. And you'll be like, I hate you. I'm never coming back.
It kills me sometimes podcasting with you guys. Like, nothing against you guys, but it just kills me that I'm like, the rate that you guys go through games and like how long it takes me is just, it stresses me out sometimes. I'm like, I got responsibilities, but I just want to play video games like my friends.
There's gonna come a day where I start really reducing the amount of time that I play, and it's gonna depress me when I realize just how much I'm not keeping up anymore. But I don't gotta worry about that right now. So
Yeah.
Are you playing anything else, Adam, or is it just that?
No, honestly, it's just been that. Like, I mean, like I said, MLB when I'm doing stuff for podcasts. I've booted up Elatro a little bit here and there, but like I haven't started anything because I'm at the point that I'm like, I cannot start anything because if it even remotely takes me away from Expedition, I'm never gonna finish Expedition because I'm gonna forget what's happening. This is one of those games where it's like you can't play another story game. Like maybe if there was a game that, you know, I could mess with that isn't like intensive. I mean, Chris, you know, I've basically done all I can in Blueprints. There are some puzzles I could do at this point, but like I've done what I can. I think at this point I'm happy with putting the game down. Unless somebody like really has some fun modding it. There's some cool stuff that people could do with mods in that game, especially for randomizers that I think would be really interesting. But like that's until somebody does a proper fix for the dart puzzle, I don't fucking want to play that game anymore. I'm done.
Yeah, I think you put 1 billion hours into it, so I think you're good.
I know that I put enough time into it because I told you, hey, I finally got through Room 8, and you're like, what the fuck is Room 8?
Yeah, I thought I beat the game. Well, I did. I got the one achievement for beat the game, but then there's
and now I have 2 more trophies than you. So I'm I'm triple as good as you now.
Yeah, no, I'm not acknowledging that either.
Great, I've made 2 people mad at me on this show already. I am loving this. But what are you up to, Chris?
So I've been playing actually a lot of story games, but kind of like in a circle here. I'm not like focused on one. Claire Obscure.
That's just insane to me that you play like multiple story games at once.
Yeah, it's. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's my attention span. Well, I know what it is with one of the games, but I'll get to that in a second. Like I'm playing Claire Obscure. I did do like a 6-hour like long, just straight like, yeah, I love this game. I'm gonna play it. Adam, I will let you know because you said like the end of Act 1, you just had more questions than ever. Yeah, it just gets worse. Like I
know it's going to get worse.
I don't know how close I am to the end of Act 2. But I have an idea of what's about to come, and like that I'm like maybe 2/3 through.
Well, I mean, look, without spoiling anything, I know something's going to happen to Mael, and I'm just not sure what. So,
yeah, I don't know. I can't even confirm or deny. Like, even if I was like, oh, spoiler warning, there is no spoiler warning. I still don't know what's going on. I am more confused. However, I do love Andy
But it's not
Serkis
like a confusion of like, what the fuck is happening? It's more of a like, you're trying to piece something together and you're going, okay, what? Like, it's more of a, it's not a what the fuck is happening. It's a what the fuck, what is happening? Like, you're trying to try to figure some stuff out and you're like, man, like, I need to know.
I did get like a couple answers, but I don't feel very satisfied with them because there's just so many questions.
Look, I just really want to know why Loon just doesn't wear shoes. I need to know, okay?
It's because she's in touch with magic. I don't know. Fuck. I think
everybody
they were just
else, everybody else wears footwear. I don't know what her deal is. There's a lot of pointy shit in this world. Like, God only, like, I feel so bad for her feet. God damn, they must be destroyed.
I acknowledge it. I hate shoes. Like, honestly, summer's the best because I literally like once short season hits and I'm not wearing socks, like I'm barefoot.
Yeah, but you're also not walking in a post-apocalyptic world with a bunch of jagged edges. So now, granted, she floats.
You don't know what he does,
but Although
yeah,
I say
think
that knowing that there are costumes where she does actually have boots, but the main outfit just doesn't, so it's whatever. But hey,
Yeah.
I digress.
I have a feeling, not the shoes part, but like just her traversal feels very like Magus from Chrono Trigger. Like I feel like it's kind of like
I
a little
honestly
homage to
use
that.
it all the time. Like I don't use anybody else in the overworlds because I actually enjoy the way that it looks, and it feels better. Like because you're not
Yes.
dealing with the constant like bumping of people's like hair physics aren't all over the place with some characters. Like it's just clean.
Yes, it is a very, yeah, I usually have her at the head of the party too. Yeah, I've been playing that. Nothing new to say about it. It's still amazing. It's getting even more amazing because more Andy Serkis voice acting is happening and Ben Starr and all that kind of stuff. Who is Clive
If
in
I've
Final
gotten
Fantasy
Act 2, have I
16?
met Andy Serkis yet and I just haven't noticed?
Yeah, he's the old guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's Andy Serkis
he's just
right there.
yeah,
If you
but
don't know,
Andy
it's Andy
Serkis.
That's Andy Serkis.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow, I
he
did
does
not
so
catch
many.
that at all.
Yeah, he's not just being like just his basic self. Like obviously he's putting on like a voice because he's a fantastic voice actor,
But
right?
like I didn't piece two together. I kept waiting for like a party member or something potentially. Now that you say that, now I'm gonna actually start to pay attention for that a little bit.
Yeah, pay attention to him. I mean, as the game goes, he has more scenes, and
Oh yeah.
he brings out his Andy Serkisness. I don't know how else to say that, but yeah, he's fantastic. The game is still my game of the year so far this year. I mean, it could be beaten, but it would be very hard because this is a modern day turn-based JRPG.
I will say the deeper I'm getting into it, the more and more that I'm like, Blueprint, you better watch your back, man.
Yeah, this is definitely a contender for my game of the year. One of the other games I'm playing, and Kaylan, this will answer your question on how I'm playing multiple story games at a time. The other one is Last of Us Part 2, which I've never played. The idea was to beat the game before
I
the
wanna
show
hear
came
about
out. I am on chapter 18. I watched
Okay.
episode 4 of the show on Sunday, and like the show ended at the exact spot I was at in the game. And I was like, fuck me.
I also
Okay,
love
we're
that
gonna-
like I also love that interestingly, like apparently the rate like the viewership of the show dropped about the point that most people really stopped liking the game, which is just really interesting to me that even like casual viewers that have never seen the show before are a little bit put off by it. That's really interesting. I saw that article and
We're
was
gonna
like,
go to
that's weird.
We're gonna go to spoiler territory. Adam, you've not played The Last of Us Part 2, right?
No, but I've read the synopsis like 17
Cool.
times when
Awesome.
people kept posting it.
If you don't want to talk about Last of Us spoilers, you're not in the right spot. Go fast forward probably 5-10 minutes.
There's been plenty of time. You've probably heard this like 17 times from somebody
I'm
else
just
too.
being because it's
Yeah. No, I'm more
You're
I'm
getting
more
into
taking.
some-
If anybody complains about spoilers for this game, it's like, guys, like this game's been out long enough that you've definitely played it by now, or you've been spoiled it like 7 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Chris, remind me where chapter 18 is. Like, where are you in this game? I want to talk about like what your thoughts are so far and everything.
So chapter 18, I just finished a flashback scene where Joel and Ellie are trying to go to a music store and they have to go through a hotel. And it's just kind of like a small flashback scene. In the in the current time, it's where Ellie finds Jesse while she's out. She thinks she's finding Tommy in Hill something. Not Hilltop.
That's a good level.
Oh, that was a good level. Oh, 100%. And then, she brings him back. So now it's her, Jesse, and Dina are in that theater. Kind of the three of them are back together again, kind of thing.
Interesting. So do you know what's happening, what's going on next? Like, you know where this is going?
No. So I knew like the big story things, like the big Joel thing and all that kind of stuff. Like I knew about that going into the game and the show. But I didn't know much else. I know that like you play as Abby, like after you've played like 3 days worth of being in Seattle with Ellie, and it kind of switches perspectives to her and goes through a bunch of stuff and all that kind of stuff. I know who the Scar cult is, or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, like, I have a feeling of like certain people are going to die and certain bad things are going to happen and that kind of stuff, but I do not know 100% about them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So how are you finding it so far? Like, what's your opinion on like the story, the gameplay, where this is going?
So
What do
the
you think?
game itself and the story within the game, I love it. Like I am actually not put off by like I mean, if I could choose to write it differently, would I have maybe not done a certain thing? 100%. But that's just
Oh, we're in
because
spoiler territory. You can say spoilers.
yeah. So like Joel dying, like I would have loved if he didn't because I love him as a character. But I mean, this is a game about revenge on two girls where both of their dads basically have been killed because of each other kind of situation. Like it's two daughters in a way going at each other because both of their dads are dead and they blame the other person. I like that apocalypse, this life sucks kind of thing. Like I'm not put off by any of the story choices at all so far, at least. I actually really like it. I think the game does present it better than the show if I was comparing it to that. The show, it's kind of just like this was something the first season had. Me and my friend Kevin talked about this a little earlier, actually, where it's just the game had a lot better way of slowly doing character development because there's a lot of conversations and things that come up in the game while you're going through the levels, right? And the show is like skipping from cutscene to cutscene, so you lose a lot of that development, unfortunately. But I still think the show is amazing and all that kind of stuff. Like I am loving it. But it's just like there's stuff in the game that you'd never. I don't think they could put in the show. Like in that level I'm talking about, where you find Jesse and you're going through in Seattle. There's in that hill, whatever, Wind Hill, or I don't know what the heck the area was called in Seattle, but wherever they are, there's all these notes, and it starts off where you find like this guy's archer trophy, and he's like the best at killing clickers, and his daughter wrote him a note like, "Oh, Dad, I love you. You're the best at keeping us safe," kind of thing. Then all of a sudden, there's this WLF, that Wolf, group had a sign up and somebody spray painted over it like "fuck Wolf" or something like that. Then all of a sudden you find other notes and it's like, "Hey, Wolf is like being too much. We've got to get out of here." And it's talking about like that guy who was on the trophy and that kind of stuff. Then all of a sudden it's like, "Oh my God, they killed Sophia," which is the daughter of this guy from that note, who it turns out was the one that spray painted over the wolf sign, and the wolf people, the militia, killed her. And then everyone's talking about getting out of the town. And then there's another note where it's like, Boris, the dad of this girl, he's not getting out, and it's insane. Then all of a sudden you go into the back where there's a safe, and I knew there was a safe there because I have a collectibles list that I'm following because of achievements. And I go in there, I'm like, okay, I'm going in because there's a safe. But when you go in, there's like 6 clickers are infected, and they've been locked in with like a dumpster. So when you open it, it's like, yes, you get to go to the safe, and there's all this stuff. But you open it, and you're going to get attacked. Well, I didn't know. It surprised the hell out of me, but there was 6 like infected that jumped out, and I had to take them all out. Well, then all of a sudden, as you're going and you find yet another note, you find this guy whose daughter was killed, and everyone's like, "We're trying to get out of town," and he's not leaving. It's like, I'm confessing, nobody had my back with my daughter. I took all of my friends in town, lightly poisoned them, and dragged them into the spore-infested garage in the back and locked them in there with a dumpster. I'm also infected and I'm going to turn, but all of them will too, and it's all their fault for not caring that my daughter was killed by this militia. And it's like, wait a minute, all those infected that I just killed with that, where that safe was this guy's friends. Then you go into another room, and sure enough, this guy, as an infected, attacks you, and he's got the bow and arrow on his back. Which again goes right back to the first item you found in the level like 20 minutes earlier, which was the trophy for archery, that he was this dad who was the archer and like keeping people safe. This entire storyline of these random people that you'll never meet played out just through collectibles in this town. And that's not going to happen in the show. Like there's no way they can go into that kind of development and that level of detail because it's got to be an hour long and they've got to get through it, right? So I'm just still amazed that this game and Naughty Dog themselves, they can actually present a story within the game that most people may just walk right past or maybe not even notice. Like they'll get attacked by that guy with the bow because that's like a story moment, like has to happen. And they're like, "Oh, wow, that infected had a bow. Like, cool, I'm going to take his bow. Now I have that as a weapon. That's an easy way to give it to me." And it's like, wow, like that was an entire story that played out. And for me, it hit hard. I was like, that's some fantastic character development of a character I'll never even meet. Like this guy going from everything's great to his daughter died to him killing his friends, and now I'm killing him to take his bow. all played out. And I honestly, like, it's that kind of storytelling that just with The Last of Us, even if they make bad decisions with certain things or like things where it's like, listen, I can understand why people are upset at this. I still see the pure, just like amazing storytelling in there for everything else. And I just want to keep going with it, you know?
Yeah, that's one of the things for me, like with The Last of Us, I really like the world, and not saying that I didn't like The Last of Us Part 2, like I actually do. I have narrative choices with it that I think I've talked about on the show, but we can talk about it once you finish the game. Not necessarily narrative choices in terms of what they're taught, like what they do, but more how it's delivered. But I think one of the things I'd like to see with The Last of Us is I'd like to see a move away from Joel and Ellie and all that, and I just want to see like stories in The Last of Us, because that's one of the coolest parts of just what everyone did in this cordyceps infection. And I'd like to see, if I had had my way, I might, like, in hindsight, have said, hey, look, make a Last of Us Part 2, but just give us a new story, new characters, and a new sort of scenario, right? Like, instead of just doing, like, oh, it's Ellie, like, going after someone in there, just make, like, make new characters, make a new story, like, maybe make it, like, a story about, like, the archer going against the wolves or something like that. Like, it doesn't have to be that story, but just make a compelling narrative of people just surviving an outbreak, surviving all that. I don't know. That's what I'd like to see.
No, I 100% agree, because that's kind of what Walking Dead was doing a little bit. They didn't handle a lot of their stories well, in my opinion, near the end. But they were branching out, and I loved that, because it's like it's not just these two people in this apocalypse. Like, there's a whole apocalypse going on. What's it like in other areas? What's it like in other parts of the world? What's it like just for other people, even in the same area? Like, I think it's something they could expand on hugely. I completely agree with you on that. Yeah. The other game I've been playing to move away from... sorry. And the reason that I'm doing multiple story games is I can only do like 2 chapters at a time with The Last of Us. Because the chapters are really fucking long. I wasn't expecting that. This game is taking forever. I'm only on chapter 18 of 45. Like, I'm racing to be ahead of the show, and I don't know how I'm going to do it, because one of these chapters can take me like 45 minutes. And the show is burning through chapters faster than I can play them. And yeah, it's a lot. So I can only do like 2 chapters before I'm also like, holy fuck, my heart's like racing. Like, this is intense. This is a very dark and intense world, right? So I kind of switch over to Clair Obscur, or the other game I've been playing
to another dark and
is,
intense world.
Yes, which I then also need to shift over to Assassin's Creed, because even if it's supposed to be dark, it's not. I'm just an assassin taking out people.
It's really not.
No, it's not.
I'm a ninja, or I'm a samurai.
Yeah. And I'm still loving that game too. Don't be wrong, it's still a 7 out of 10. I think it's one of the best Assassin's Creed games in a long time. It's way better than Valhalla. I'd even put it ahead of Odyssey, to be completely honest. Maybe even Origins, to be honest. That one, and I really like that one. It's kind of hard to tell.
Odyssey is usually the one that's put above Origins.
Yes, I definitely like it better than Odyssey, because this actually feels like an Assassin's Creed game. Like, there's Assassin's Creed outfits, and there's like missions that like gives lore on the assassins and all that kind of stuff. Like, it actually feels like you're playing an Assassin's Creed game just in Japan. And I am still loving it. I will sometimes turn it on where I know I only have 45 minutes. And it'll be like, all right, I'm going to pick a castle that has 3 samurai in it. And it's kind of like, if you can take out the 3 samurai, then that castle is completed. And you get like points that you can use to unlock skills and all that kind of stuff. And I'll kind of just pick one, and I'll be like, all right, that one has 4 samurai in it. I'm going to assassinate 4 samurai and maybe just everybody in the castle. Who cares? I don't know. I'm an assassin. I'll do it. And I just get there. Oddly enough, all of them have a fast travel point at the top too, like the eagle point. So I'll do that. Take out all the samurai, and I'm like, cool. That was like half an hour well spent. Game saves, and I just exit out. Like, it's just something I'm kind of still doing. I do love taking out like the Templars or whatever you want to call them in the game. The only thing that I will say is that I don't know if it's me or the game, but I feel like it's like Yasuke and Naoe will be talking, and it'll be like, oh, here's, the 12 evil people, but we don't know who they are. And, it'll be Yasuke will be like, oh, that guy had a helmet that looks like that. I heard a story of a guy who had a helmet like that in this one town. And then, like, that's the mission. And then you just go there. And then a whole bunch of stuff happens, and you eventually get to, say, a Templar and take him out. Like, no spoilers here, but that's just the Assassin's Creed formula, right?
It's not a spoiler. You're
And
killing Templars in Assassin's Creed games.
yeah, yes. And the only thing is like as I'm talking to people, and I don't, again, I think it's just because there's so many different names and so many different provinces and so many things being brought up and characters who are portraying this and this person. And you're talking to this noble person who knows this, who's kind of connected with this Templar person and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like hearing people say names and I'm like, I have no idea who you're talking about right now. Like if I knew, I have the basic idea of the story, but they're like, oh, you're the person that did this in that one town in this one province and you're a member of this family clan. And I'm like,
well, it's kind of like what you were even just saying with The Last of Us, where like there's such a tale of two differences where when you have a much more linear based setup that it's very easy for you to even random little things can suddenly get pulled together. Whereas when you play an open world game like this, it's so easy for everything to be so fragmented and just feels like it's not really connected at all anymore.
Yeah, and that's kind of the issue with this. Well, I mean, I don't want to call it an issue because it's mostly the gameplay versus the actual story in this one compared to, say, Last of Us. Kaylan, were you going to say something?
Chris has a notepad and it's like Yasuke, what's the other?
Naue
and Yasuke, like got those wrote down like ninja, samurai, and then like Japan, and that's like all the notes that he has of like what's going on.
To be fair, that's most of what what people really wanted is they just wanted, okay, there's a samurai, there's a ninja, we're in Japan, cool.
Yeah. Oddly enough, and like there's been some missions, and again, no spoilers at all, but there's been some missions where it like talks a bit about like the Assassin's Creed clan, like the actual assassins, how they came to Japan and like how they got established and stuff. So like a bit of history and like you can find like little hideouts and you know, like the Assassin's Creed lore that is in all of them. I understand all of that. Like Ubisoft is so good at having so like diving into that and like referencing maybe past games or like, you know, like that kind of stuff. I fully get that. But then I think the issue is that each of the Templars that you go take out, because you can do them in any order and all that, they are their own separate stories, right? It's not like these are Templars that are all working together and like they are, like I'm assuming there's one big overarching plot, but when you go to them, they're their own unique stories of who knows them and who's going to help you figure out who they are and take them out and all that kind of stuff. And they are not connected to the other ones. And there's like 12 or whatever in this game. So by the time you're on the 7th Templar that you want to take out, and it's giving you yet another story of a new family or a province or a clan or a new character or a new whatever, it's like not connected to the previous 6 and you're just trying to download even more information. And I'm just like at the point where I'm like, I don't know who any of you are, but then it'll give me something I do know. It's like, oh, this person's like this Templar is actually smuggling guns in by mixing gunpowder with incense. They're evil. And I'm like, I understand that. Let's go kill him. Like it's like that, you know? But I think they were trying to be very meaningful with some of the stories, and I think that it's delivered very well. Again, I just get kind of lost because there's so many stories happening, and I think, Adam, you're right. It's the open world thing, right? It's all open. These are all characters living their own lives in separate areas. You're going to do it in any order. You can't make it linear to make that little bit more sense where it's like you keep hearing about the same people or the same families or the same whatever over and over and over.
Yeah, the problem with a lot of those games is that often and not, like the story moments tend to not be the overall body of work. It's just moments. Like that's the problem with a lot of those games is they end up being more like, oh, that part was cool or that mission was cool or that character's cool. Like it's not like a I enjoyed every moment of it. It's more of just a case of like, oh, I like that little bit. That bit was fucking stupid. Like there's a lot of like little bits here and there with it, and it's really disjointed and hard to really like pin it down.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's why I love like Horizon Zero Dawn, because the main missions in that game was further advancing just one story, and it kept adding more answers to the mystery, or at least leading you on here. These ones, all the missions feel extremely disconnected. It's just like there are 12 evil people and we have to take them all out because they're bad. And
even
again,
it's not for Horizon, like even Forbidden West, there was a change on that because it started feeling like it wasn't just one story you were going after. It felt like 7.
Yeah, it was too many.
It was too many and disjointed, and this is suffering from that for sure. Not the overall, like, oh, there's 12 evil people. Of course, it's Assassin's Creed game. That's what you're supposed to do. But I feel like in the older Assassin's Creed, like, you would see the Templars talking to each other, and you'd snoop on them, and then one of them you'd end up following. Like, it was this one plot and you were uncovering it one Templar at a time. Here it's just there are 12 people, they must die, but they're off living their own separate lives, and I'll take them out one at a time, and eventually they'll all be dead. And then then it'll be like, oh, here's the one big reveal now about what they were all doing.
It feels less like you're in one world so much as you're just traveling to 12 different places and taking care of their own stories, and then by chance you stumble across a big one, really.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So yeah, those are the games I've been playing. And Balatro was just added to PlayStation, and yes, I downloaded it, and yes, I will be trying it on the PS Portal because I've already unlocked most things on Xbox and my PC, and it's time to do it all again.
See, I thought I had a problem.
I do. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the music or just the addiction. It's the addiction. Why would I even say anything else?
It could be.
Yeah,
Why can't it be both?
I guess it could be. Yeah, but I just definitely want to try it out because I think the PS Portal is like perfect for like Balatro. Yeah, try it out for like 1 to 90 hours or whatever. Like just a quick tryout, you know?
And he complains about his backlog, Kaylan.
I know.
I do.
Most of the time he's wasting it.
Well, complaining about backlog seems to be also your thing. Have you done anything recently?
Mark your calendars, ladies and gentlemen. It's a big day at Kaylan's house. I beat a video game.
What was it? Was it Balatro?
It was a VAD.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So I think this is now my third game this year that I've beaten.
Yes.
Maybe second. I can't remember if I beat Indiana Jones
on a strong pace, man. All you got to do is just find a couple of really, really short games just to guarantee you can say you finished one game a month.
Well, now I'm sitting and do I either go with Expedition 33 or do I go with Assassin's Creed Shadows? So no, we're going to sidestep.
They are both.
I want to gush about Avowed. Avowed, I feel like kind of got overshadowed really fast with a lot of other stuff, but that game is fantastic. Like I can't sing enough praise about it. As you guys know, I played Skyrim about 2-3 years ago for the first time, and I would choose Avowed over Skyrim any day.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was playing as like a sword and board kind of. I kind of did like a Viking-esque character, so shield and like axe kind of playthrough. No magic. My character was dumb as bricks. I think I had an intelligence of like 2. But super strong, super like constitution, all that stuff. And it was awesome. I loved the characters. I didn't find them super annoying, and I liked the fact that this game was limited, that you basically only had 4 companions, and it was pretty easy to kind of like keep them in touch, what's going on, what they're doing. It doesn't suffer from like Dragon Age symptoms or like Mass Effect where it's like, hey, here's 8 different people you have to solve all their problems. It was like, hey, there's
also
4
in the case
characters.
of like, here's 9 guys, but by the time you've got to 8 and 9, you've already basically decided who your core guys are.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing with Avowed. Like I started off with Kai, and he was my main, and then eventually I switched over to like the scout. I forget what his name is. Doesn't matter. But like halfway through the game, I'm like, oh, you know what? I actually want to play with these people now, and like it was great. I thought the companions were really compelling. It wasn't overwhelming to like to have them and like do their missions. It usually was just like 1, maybe 2 things, and each one had their own kind of like world where you had to solve their problem.
Mm-hmm.
So not hugely cumbersome. I thought the amount of choices you had to make was really interesting and like could impact how things go without going into spoilers. Like a lot of like questions I had, and I wasn't sure what I was going to do until like the very end, because like you get different information as you go, and then like you're like, all right, I'm going to do this, and then there's a new piece of information, like, oh crud, like what do I'm going to do now? So like I thought that was very compelling and very interesting. The combat is fantastic. Like I said, I didn't do any magical stuff, but I was doing like the sword and shield, and I thought it was really cool because I would like parry against people to break their stamina to do like this wicked combo, bashing them with shields and stuff. It was really cool. So I think the story's really cool. The characters, the factions are all really neat. I think it's a little on the nose who the villain is at one point, or at least one of the villains, because they literally have fire in their eye, like fire eyes, and it's like, okay, everyone kind of looks normal-esque, except this person has like a dark helmet with flames coming out of their eyes. Like
it's like anime character syndrome. You can tell which one's not the NPC because they actually have a hair color that isn't black.
It's like one of those it's like one of those old like who done it, and there's like the one character that does shifty eyes. It's like, okay, like who could it be? But there's more characters that you don't know their intentions, how it's going to go. And I had times where I made a decision. I'm like, you know what? No, I didn't like that. And I went back and I redid it and stuff. So I think Avowed is awesome, man. Like, it's not overwhelming in terms of like the Skyrim thing. Like, I was going around and chasing every single, like, oh, what's this? Oh, what's this? What's this? And I never got tired of that. Like, it rewarded me for exploring. There's like loot after loot after loot that it's easy and quick to change your playstyle. You can respec if you want to. So if you like are playing a sword and shield and then decide you want to be a magic user all of a sudden, cool. You could become a magic user. I think it costs like a couple thousand gold to just respec, and which is nothing in the scheme of things. I think I finished the game with like 200,000 gold, so like it would have been nothing for me to pivot over. Graphically, it looks amazing. I had no bugs, no hiccups or anything like that. So for this to be kind of on Game Pass for free, like I totally recommend it. And if you're on PlayStation, like, and you want a Skyrim style fix, this is like not, I wouldn't say Skyrim light, but a snack size Skyrim, but like the perfect size. It doesn't overstay.
Yes.
By the time I was starting to get fatigue of like, okay, I want to play something else, and I was pretty much at the end. I think I had like 3-4 hours left by the time I was starting to be like, okay, we need something else. So perfect length game. There's like 4 or 5 like different areas to explore. It goes by quick and it doesn't overstay its welcome. It's well paced, and I really like this game. For me, like, this is something that can be considered a game of the year game.
Yeah,
Especially coming
100%.
after Dragon Age.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I loved Avowed. I thought it was so perfect. I think that you're spot on with it being like snack size Skyrim. Like, it's just the perfect length and size, and it never gets overwhelming with the characters, the locations, none of it.
Yeah. Did you beat Avowed, Chris?
Yes, I did.
Okay, cool. I'm really curious to see like what you ended up going with, but I'm not gonna spoil it here. So
Yeah. Oh no, we can talk. Oh yeah.
yeah.
You keep me out of this. It's still on my list too.
Oh,
Yeah.
Adam, it is really good. Like I said, if you like Skyrim, if you
Yeah,
like,
I popped in
Oblivion-
like an hour of it, and then all of a sudden, what was it that took my attention away from it? Oh my god, I don't remember now.
Blueprints.
It might have no, it might have
Yeah.
been Trails actually, because that's how long it might have been.
Mhm.
So yeah, my attention has been temporary void, and I was also like waiting for a good deal on Game Pass, which I still am. So
Yeah, no, this
But
is
it-
like, this is not one. It's just, I would say if you're interested in this, like, don't wait for Game Pass. Just buy it. It's worth it.
yeah, I'd be shocked if I
Really
don't
not.
finish it by the end of this year, because I actually have the time
6
to
out of
do it. Heh.
I'll give it a 6 out of 6 on the PixelPlay scale.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Fully agree.
Yeah, I mean, like, and once again, this is, last week we were talking about Xbox nailing it. This is, I feel like, the second hit after Indiana Jones of what has become a multiple 1, 2, 3, 4 punch scenario.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
with Doom
we're
on the way.
potentially looking for we're looking for a 5th soon. So
Yep.
That's a lot.
well, while they're hitting on games, people are a little bit unhappy because they are now hitting us, the consumer, with their price hikes. You like that segue?
That's a segue.
So, I mean, we know that this is coming, obviously, with the whole conversation of the tariffs and screwing with price amounts. Like, with the Switch, you knew that as soon as Nintendo started, everybody's going to follow suit. So we're now in the point of waiting for PlayStation to follow. But as it stands currently, Xbox has raised their prices. Ironically, at this current point in time, if you need an excuse to buy a PS5 Pro, you can now, because with the price hikes, the Series X is $30 more expensive than a PS5 Pro right now. So
That's crazy.
until they say otherwise, PS5 Pro is better. But that probably won't last very long. I wouldn't be surprised by the time that we do this show next week that we're now talking about PlayStation's prices increase. But for the time being, this is just cliff notes of it. Series S, I'm not even going to go to like the really small one, but like the main 1 terabyte one, it's going to be $529 Canadian. So that's, for the Series S, is kind of unacceptable at that point. That's basically a non-starter for that console, given how weak it is. That is a non-starter in my opinion. This, in comparison, the Series X for the 1 terabyte, and that's the digital version only, is $679. So like for only $150 more, you're getting the way better version. So I mean, if you have to buy an Xbox, there is literally no reason to touch that Series S. Granted, the 512 gigabyte one's $449 Canadian, but like that's not a lot of a size for Xbox games. So why are you even looking down that road? It's another $50 for the X if you want the disc version, so that brings you up to $729. The 2 terabyte one is at $879. That is $900 plus tax for a console with a 2 terabyte hard drive. That's a pill to swallow.
That's more expensive than a Switch too.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, that circled around to become the best deal, which is
the one that hits me. I mean, obviously the game's at $79.99, being potentially anywhere up to $110 Canadian if they're $79.99 US. It's honestly the controllers that hit me. The fact that like controllers now are $85 and special editions can be $100 that's crazy. Like, obviously, I was smart. I've got the what is it, the Edge, or whatever the Pro one is. So like I got a good deal on that before. So I don't have to think about that now. But like if I want it, like especially if they come up with a design, especially because Xbox has like, in my opinion, the better controllers in terms of their design right now. If there's one I want, you're not getting that out of me because I'm not paying $100 for a controller. No goddamn way. So like obviously like we knew this stuff was coming, and it's, I don't know, like how much can you really say other than that sucks? But I honestly kind of want to lean in this direction. But if you guys have anything else to say, you can also pitch in. But like we're assuming that right now the reason they're doing this, or the excuse they're using to do this, is the tariffs. Do we believe that at any point they're going to lower it back? Because I don't believe they ever will.
Here's my thing, because like yes, I think the tariffs are the reason why they're saying that this is increasing, but I don't understand why this is occurring, because it's occurring globally, these price hikes, right?
Yeah.
So
like theoretically it shouldn't apply to us, say, here in Canada, because we're not affected by the tariffs.
It should apply to anyone with the exception of the US. What they're doing is they're raising the US prices and just raising everyone else's to go with it. So we're all getting screwed over because the US has decided to fuck around. So
so they're fucking around and we're all finding out.
Yeah, and that's my issue. Like, do I understand why the prices are going up in the States? Absolutely. But I feel like it's either one, they're using it as a way to just justify raising the cost for everyone else, or they're subsidizing our costs, like their costs, and we're paying for it, right? And I'm frustrated with both of those situations just because, like it's not fair to the rest of the world. Like, I understand our dollar sucks, and I understand like that whole scenario, but the other thing too is that the cost wouldn't be in the, like, and I'm not an economist, I don't know, like someone who's an economist or into like this kind of stuff can correct me, but like the tariffs wouldn't be built into the price. That would be by the importer, right? So like unless Xbox is the one that's importing it and then sending it to suppliers, like I don't know why it's baked into the price. That would be an after cost, right? Like, I don't know.
Like I said, there's the part of my brain that thinks this isn't a reason, it's an excuse.
Oh, 100%.
And like I said, I have no trust in them to lower it if things ever correct itself. They're just going to do what we expect them to do, which is just wait till inflation catches up and be like, well, see, it's a deal now.
Yeah. I think that's what COVID kind of showed, is that like once the prices get that high, they're not coming back down. I think it's really weird for Xbox to be raising the prices of their consoles. And I think there's a weird conversation.
Because that is the de facto. The S makes no sense. You just, like, I don't even know why they're still making them. You should just want those off the shelf at this point.
But my argument is that, like, when they're making the statement that everything is an Xbox, why would I buy an Xbox? I feel like Xbox's strategy is to just sell Game Pass. And what you would do, and Xbox is in a unique position because they are the only ones that do this, that they have a 100% revenue stream, right? Like if you buy a game on the PlayStation Network, PlayStation only takes a cut. They only take 30%. But when you buy a Game Pass subscription, 100% of that goes to Xbox. They obviously divvy it up and give it back to the developers on the back end, but that is 100% them. That if I was Xbox, I would make my consoles the cheapest that there are. Be like, hey, you want to buy an Xbox? Great. The Series X is $400 and the S is $200. We're going to set you up with 2 months of Game Pass, 3 months of Game Pass, and after that, you need to either buy our games or you need to buy Game Pass. right? They need to flood the market and be like, hey, we are the cheapest option. There's no reason not to have one, especially with the year that they're having when they're dropping banger after banger. I think they've
Yeah, like after
I
all
think
of
they've
this,
screwed up.
they're taking a bad PR hit now, which is not the time to be doing that.
I feel
Yeah.
like they screwed up in twofold, in two times. I think the first is going multi-platform, especially this year. This is the one year where it's like you should have stayed
Yeah, like, if they had
exclusive.
done this last year, I don't think we would have blamed them. But now it seems like this is a weird time to do it.
Like, I mean, you've got these amazing exclusives that are coming out, right? Like, I just sang the praises of Avowed. We know Indiana Jones is great. I have no reason to think that Doom is going to be fantastic. So, like, if those were sitting on the Xbox console exclusively, and they're like, "Hey, we're the cheapest console. We are right now the best first-party publisher." Consistently at PlayStation, I'm going to make the argument that PlayStation is not firing on all cylinders, and Nintendo is a weird ecosystem that you're either in it or you're not, and then nothing's really going to move the needle. So for them to be like, "Hey, the console's cheap, get in. You want to try Xbox? Great, you can do it. Get it for this one game. You know, if you want to play Doom, you can get in for $200, play Doom, and then whatever." But that's what I would kind of do. Like they need to flood the market with their consoles in order to get the subscriptions. But
Now
they've decided,
they would never do
Yeah.
this, but wouldn't this be a really smart time for Sony to do nothing? Because since all the Xbox games are on their consoles now, or starting to be rolled out onto their console now, if you suddenly are the cheaper option, and the games are going to your console anyway, so Xbox doesn't even have the exclusivity part to it, this is an opportunity to really take the console share away. They won't do that because greedy business executives will always be greedy business executives, but man, like with 2 out of 3 companies already making that jump, you can look real fucking good by not budging. And with the way that PlayStation right now is not doing anything, continuing to do nothing would be an amazing choice by accident.
see,
Yeah.
PlayStation. Oh, go ahead, Chris.
I was going to say that they aren't doing anything, but also they have been doing things. They've already been raising prices. They haven't hit us. Well, no, some of them have actually. Like
PlayStation Plus has.
PlayStation Plus in Canada went up by like a pretty substantial amount, which was like, what the hell's going on? They have raised the price of the PS5 and stuff, just not in North America. It's in like New Zealand and some like in Europe, or like they have been raising prices, but like they just didn't do it worldwide all at once. Maybe they do a little bit at a time around. I don't know. I feel like they've already started. I agree with you. It would be the smart time to do that. But I feel like they've already started increasing. And like, even if they stop now, they already did some. So it's kind of like, interesting. Like it's almost like bad timing, because if they were going to do that, they should have not done the last, say, 2 months, and then could have come out even better.
See, I think PlayStation is the one console that I would expect them to raise. Like, I was not expecting PlayStation to come out, or Nintendo to come out as expensive as they were. I don't know what Xbox is thinking. Like, you're in last place and you think you can just charge more. But PlayStation is the one where it's like, you are dominating. You have, the players, like, that's where most people's friends are. You are known. I'm not saying they have them, but you are known for the exclusives. And if you want certain games, they are only available on PlayStation. Like, you kind of have us over a barrel where you can charge us and say, hey, look, if you want to play these exclusive games, it's going to cost you. But I don't know. I don't know. For me, I just don't know what Xbox is doing. Like, they keep.
It's also frustrating in itself knowing that like we're not that far from potentially a new console getting announced anyway from these places like in the next couple of years. So it's like raising these now just seems like a kind of pointless endeavor.
Mm-hmm.
When you could just do
100%.
it with the new console and no one's really going to be able to challenge you.
I don't know. Like, I think one of the things, like, they may announce a new console, but I don't know if like they're gonna have the adoption. Like, I think this console generation has been kind of a bust a bit, and I think that if they come out with, hey, we've got the PS6 and the Xbox Woozle Wazzle, whatever the hell they call it this time, like, I think there's a real conversation of why. I mean, we all bought PlayStation 5s, and it took how many years before we started getting exclusive? And frankly, the exclusives kind of dried up once the PS4 exclusives stopped coming. That I don't know if I'm I know I will, but I think there's a lot of people who are like, why would I jump right away? Like, if the console's as expensive as, if I'm paying $1,000 and you're still going to support PS5 and you're still going to be making games for that for years, why do I jump so early?
Yeah. Yeah,
it's
I
also going to be hard to
completely
say because I mean we obviously need to get to the end of that cycle to see how well it really did. Because right now they're at roughly 75 million, which would still put them pretty high up there. But it's a matter of can they catch up to what PlayStation 4 did, which is somewhere in the almost 120 range. So like, it's hard to say. But you also would expect like there be a little bit more growth as well.
agree.
But again,
Why, though?
we've
there's
talked about this
nothing-
before, but it feels like it's getting to the point now where like the console market is going to be for those that just don't want to deal with the complexity of PC, but more and more people are starting to dip their toes into it and just take the risk.
Yeah, console gaming has shrunk, or at least console adopters, and
I don't
PC
even know if I'd say
gaming
it's
has
shrunk. I just
apparently
think
gone up.
it's not growing at what it used to anymore. Like it's
Yeah,
now
yeah.
like almost hit a ceiling in a way.
Yeah, but
Well, I
PC
think-
gaming has grown. Like the number of people, apparently with whatever statistic I saw, like I don't have any obviously source here or anything like that, but apparently PC gaming has been growing a lot faster than normal. And you can even see it, like even if you wanted to see how to tell, just look at how Steam keeps breaking its own record of active online at the same time users, not just accounts, because there could be deactivated accounts. This is people online all at the exact same time on Steam servers doing something. And they keep putting out like, hey, we broke another record. We broke another record. And it's like every week that they're breaking a new record, and it just keeps growing, right?
Probably for the same
I think
reason
so.
too that like we're just kind of getting tired in general with AAA, and since AAA tends to also be the companies that make the consoles, that we're all just kind of like, I don't have to give you money. I can just go buy a PC and I can just give the money to whoever I want now.
I think the reason you're not seeing the growth is more so not like people going to PC, because like there's a lot of people I know who aren't going to PC, and I'm one of those people. Like I don't want to manage, maintain, and configure and troubleshoot a PC to play games. Right? I like the console. If I put my game in and it works, maybe it needs to update, but I don't have to figure out drivers and all that stuff. Like I don't have a lot of time to game, and I don't want to spend my gaming time troubleshooting. I think though where the problem is that we are thinking from a gaming enthusiast perspective, right? But the problem is that that's a very small portion. There are people who, aren't enthusiasts and aren't hardcores, but may have picked up a console once upon a time to play a game or two, right? Like you think of everyone who picked up a game playing Stardew, or not Stardew Valley, but Animal Crossing, right? That was something where the Switch at the time, I think, was like $250. So you could start playing Animal Crossing for $350, brand new, if you went to the store and just paid everything outright. When you start getting to the point
you're
where
even just like the FIFA guy, like you're looking at $800.
no, but I'm thinking like I was thinking like back in the pandemic, like 2020.
Yeah.
Even earlier, like with PS4, like you could get a console for $300 and get the one game you want to play for $800 or for $80, like $300-400, and you're in playing the system and the one game that you want. But when you start getting into the point where it's $700 or $800 for a console, you need to be committed and wanting to play multiple games or playing a significant portion. It's no longer for the amateur, I don't know what, like I don't know what the term I'm looking for, but that person who just wants to dip their toes every once in a while, right? And you're losing the casual audience, like the casual gamer, right? So I just think like they're pricing out the casuals, and it's now just going to be the hardcore enthusiasts, and that's a small group. Like it's not nothing, but it's a small portion of the general population.
Yeah, and it's rough because the thing is that how it normally goes, and I know inflation has been insane, I know that the world has been insane, all this kind of stuff, but every console generation, it used to be that the parts got cheaper. They were making the systems with the same parts, and sure, they'd maybe make a slim version, they'd be able to make it a bit smaller, but it would be the same thing and it would go cheaper. Like the PS3 released at like $700 Canadian when it first released. It was something insane, especially even by today's standards. It's like, what the fuck is this? A PS5 Pro, right? But then all of a sudden I remember the commercial because it had the the Kevin guy or whatever his name was in it.
Yeah,
Kevin Butler.
Yeah, and he came out and he was like, it was just $299, $299. PS3 is $299. It was just about throwing the number all around the screen. I still remember the commercial, and it was like $300. That's $400 less than what it was at launch. And it would be a console was expensive sometimes at launch because it was new, and obviously the tech was new, R&D, parts are expensive. But as time went on, it got cheaper, and it would be much cheaper. Even the PS4, I remember I almost bought one back when I was still only doing PC because it was like a bundle with the PS4 and 3 games for like $300 and something or something. It was like a Black Friday kind of bundle, but like $300 or $400 for a PS4 and 3 games already included with it. Fantastic prices. Because again, that generation had gone, and now it was time for it to go down in price, right? And we just don't have that anymore. And I think that might be a thing of the past, because I don't think that, why would they? If they can do this new way where it's like, no, actually, we're going to raise the price after like 5 years so that people maybe even in the future feel like I have to buy the console at launch because it may go up in price in the future. Why would they ever go back, right? This is kind of like what we learned in the pandemic. If they can raise prices and people will still buy apples at ridiculous prices, like, I mean, the fruit, not the devices, but same thing, actually. Why wouldn't they, right? Like, why would they ever lower the prices? So I don't know. This is bonkers to me. Like, it's crazy that we're like, I understand the reasoning, but it's just crazy that what the consoles were for like 4 generations are now, they're gone. Like the whole price reduction and going down in price and getting easier to get access to with just like, oh, here's a slim version at half price. We're never getting it again. Like, I think that it's truly gone, to be honest.
So just for context, I just did a quick calculate. Like, I'm just on Bank of Canada inflation calculator, right? And so I went, here, just to make it more accurate, just a second. So I went in and I calculated price of PS5. I looked it up, and according to Google AI, so bear with me, in 2011, 5 years into the PlayStation's life cycle, the console was $299 for the premium 320 gig model, right? That is the equivalent of that in 2011, $299, just confirming, yeah, $299 was the equivalent of $410 today. In comparison, the PS5, which is also, I think, at 5 years lifespan, because that came out in 2020.
Yeah, it's just shy because it was November, but yeah, it's 2020.
Yeah. So PS5 now is like what? Like $600?
Mm-hmm. I think it's $599 Canadian. I think.
I'm seeing it here, just doing a quick search. I'm gonna look on. Taking a quick look at Best Buy, just looking basically. To get a slim console is $649. So there is one here for $579 as well, digital edition as well. So with the let's say the premium version with the disc drive and everything, $649. So like, it's not a situation where the prices are comparable. Like, it is more expensive now for consoles than it was back then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is. And you're right with the $649. I just checked GameStop, which, by the way, they've already changed their website back to EB Games. That was fast. Yeah, it's showing us $649 for the Slim, which is not the cheapest version because you can get the original digital. Oh, no, it's the digital Slim. I guess the $649 is with disc. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's just like you said, the prices constantly come up.
As a side note, do you think they have the EB Games letters still sitting in a shop somewhere so they can just easily change all the signs back?
Yes.
Just dust them off.
Just as a quick question, do you guys think like anything's really going to change with the rebranding, or do you think it's just another attempt to try to bring some sort of relevancy back to it that's not really going to do anything?
Oh, I'm super excited for the new EB Games. I think because I was reading like the press release and they're talking about like doing events and community, and I think like that's the way to do it. I mean, we were talking about before the show, like Chris was talking about going to EB Games and doing like a midnight launch, like going to the pre-order lineup, and like that's the kind of stuff, like that's the niche that GameStop or now EB Games has, right? Like, it is a dedicated store to a small subculture that they could own it and sort of make it as a hub for the people like that. So do those midnight releases, do those, tournaments, do like social events, right? We always talk about like third spaces and stuff and how we don't have those. And I think EB Games is a unique place where they could become that.
Yeah. I think the also interesting thing is that the person who bought it is a co-owner of McFarlane Toys, so I wouldn't even be shocked if he looks at what's going on with GameStop and sees a real opportunity to just really push like the physical stuff, like your Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, Warhammer, really make a push on that front. Because let's be honest, like every year passes by and the game shelves get smaller and smaller. It seems like it's not nearly as a priority anymore.
The Xbox shelf is like 6 games. It's like gone.
Yeah, I went to EB Games this weekend, and I saw the PlayStation section, I saw the Nintendo, and I'm like, where's the Xbox? And it's not even a shelf. It's not even a wall anymore. It's like a little. I don't want to say kiosk stand, but
it's the bins at the front of the store.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Like, I mean, that makes sense for Xbox, but I mean, I don't know. I think there's an opportunity for them to do some really cool stuff and be unique. And I hope they kind of stop chasing like it's hard. They got to figure out who their demographic, because I go there and there's a lot of I hope they move away from like the Funko Pops and stuff like that, because that's
it feels like they're just throwing a dart at the board and hoping something works.
Yeah, and I hope that
because I don't feel like the stores have an identity. You just walk in and it's just everything.
Yeah, it's like, hey, here's the most popular things right now, like Stranger Things, and I'm like, okay, like that's not really what I'm here for.
Like flat out, this is my honest opinion from being in one like a couple of weeks ago. Get rid of the apparel. No one's walking into a game store to buy a t-shirt that has Assassin's Creed logo on it. If they want that badly, you can do that on a website.
No, I think they definitely should do the apparel. I think, but like they need to make it more like.
Well, okay, if we're going like that route, like I would say like get rid of the literal just logo on a shirt apparel.
Yeah, like make it like
actually make like I would even go as far as they should find independent artists and make stuff.
Yeah,
I would make like just make it like less subtle. Like I don't want it like I want subtle gaming apparel, right? Like.
Yeah. I always point to Insert Coin Clothing out in the UK, who do a fantastic job of finding stuff that looks like literally like designer shirts that you would see.
Yeah, where it's subtle, like, hey, where if you're a fan, you know what that is, but if you're not, you're like, oh, that's just a cool graphic. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a unique spot like that we need in Canada, because like you mentioned Insert Coins, but I mean like that's a UK based, so it's not cheap to get here, right?
Yeah,
so,
it'd be nice to have a version of that here that's local.
Mm-hmm. Right. The other thing too I'd like to see is like do more branch out, and like I could see them selling like leaning more into Dungeons and Dragons like stuff, like having books for that. Have some like have some cool merchandise, like have unique items that you can't get anywhere else. Like if you got cool like autographs and stuff like that. Like if you got like exclusive stuff that you can't get other places, and have that sitting at the store where it's just like, hey, it's a one-off item. Like you want something really unique, like cool.
Yeah. I think that leaning into the in-person stuff, especially right with the Switch 2 coming out, which is probably the most like physical in-person console that exists right now, or will. It's kind of like the reason card stores and comic book stores where they do like D&D nights and stuff do well is because people go to in-person card events there where it's a launch or it's a tournament or whatever, and every time they go, they buy packs of cards and stuff, because why wouldn't you? You're in the card store, you got the hype going, you are playing a tournament and there's a prize for number 1 and all that kind of stuff. They should do like Mario Kart tournaments or Smash Brothers or whatever it is. Like they'd have to figure out how it'd work in stores, but do that kind of stuff. Lean into the community and make it like, the in-person kind of stuff again. If I walked into an EB Games and there was like a couch in the back where people can sit and play a game together or something.
I'm not sitting on a couch in EB Games.
No, okay, fine. But you know what I mean. Like having a reason to even go into the store, because it's like they've got reasons to go in. There's things where like the community goes in, you see people you already know, and it's like, oh, hey, Chris, Bob, whatever, like, what are you doing here, man? Oh yeah, I'm just looking at this or picking out this and blah blah blah. Like get a reason for everybody to go in, kind of like comic book stores and everything, because people, like, it's not like comic books you're walking around and you see everybody carrying one, but they're still open and making money because people are going in for usually the community events. And I think that's where they got to lean if they want to really think. Because when I was seeing like that lineup for Nintendo Switch 2 that I was in, and the hype that everybody was in, and is there going to be a midnight launch, and is this game coming out, or are you doing a launch for that one where we can all be in there in person? People really like doing that compared to just buying it on Amazon sometimes. So I don't know, I think it's like their chance. I think
there's also
how they
like
gotta do it.
there's also the aspect of like two other things I could see them doing, or I'd throw in ideas. I'm not saying, I'm just coming up with these fast and loose. But one I'd see them doing is one, have demos, right? Like you can't get demos anymore. But like if you let's say had a PlayStation or Xbox there, and you had Expedition, 33. Is it 33?
Yep.
Yeah. I'm tired. So Expedition 33 sitting there, and like you just have it. It's like you take a copy, you put it in the PlayStation, you just have it there, and you got customers who are like, oh, cool, it's that new Expedition 33 I've heard about. I'm gonna check it out and play it. Like, go for it. That's how you're driving copies. The other thing I'd do is do a gaming rental service. Like, there's nothing stopping them from doing like a, hey, you want to buy a EB Games membership? It costs you $20 a month or something like that. You can take home any sort of used game. You can take one used game home a month, play it, bring it back. We just get, and then you get the credit for the next month or something like that. Like, that's a way that you could do it, right? Like, I think like now, like we don't have if you want to play a game, the only way to play it is by paying for buying it outright. There's not really a lot of rental services, but you've got all these used games that are open anyways. There's nothing stopping you from just saying like, hey, yeah, take it home for a week.
That's a good idea. I don't know. I do like
there's
that.
Well, we'll definitely see, because like obviously this is really fresh, so it's just the rebrand now. We never know if they'll do something. I think we all agree we don't want to see them fold, because it's the one place we got left. Like
I don't want to go to Walmart. Games.
Yeah, like I don't want to have to go to Best Buy for anything. So
no, Best Buy's not what it was before.
Last thing, because I know, Kaylan, you have a heart out here. GTA 6 formally announced for May 26th of next year. And you guys see the trailer from earlier today?
Oh yeah, I saw some screenshots. That thing is unreal.
I gotta tell you, I'm excited for a different reason. For some, I get really drama vibes from the story. Like, it actually looks a lot more interesting this time around than just being like a wacky heist adventure sort of deal. Obviously, there's gonna be some wacky shit, but I feel like there's gonna be some pretty interesting stories to be told this time around.
Well, I think they're getting to the point where they can't really parody the U.S. because the U.S.,
that's why they're in Florida. It's like, look,
Yeah, they're parodying Florida real hard, but
yeah,
everyone's like, yeah, no, that makes sense.
The important question I have to ask, though. Oh, Kaylan, finish your thought.
I was going to say, if I was a game developer, you know what day I'd be releasing my game? May 26th, because there's no way in hell they're releasing it on the actual day they announce it. It's Rockstar. It's going to have a delay.
Yeah.
So speaking of release dates, this is the ultimate question. So I'm going to give you the list of games that are currently announced for the fall that are major. I'm not going to give you the full list, because obviously not every game is equal. There's really just 3 games to be really notable of. Borderlands 4 is September 12th. Marathon is September 23rd. Ghost of Yote is October 2nd. There isn't even a major game release for November yet. By the time we get to the beginning of June, how many major games do you think are added to that list? Give me an over. I'll give you an over under. Let's say in the next month we have 5 major games announced for those 3 months. Do you take the over or the under on that? So 5.5. Let's do the over under at 5.5.
I do over.
I think it's going to be
Game
over.
Fest is coming.
Summer Game Fest, Xbox Showcase, all that kind of stuff.
Well, have they announced their dates for those yet?
Yeah.
So I know the Summer Showcase, Summer Game Fest has.
Oh, yeah, so I get away
June
with this.
6th.
So this again, by the time we hit the 1st of June, how many games do you think get announced before?
Oh, 1st of June?
Oh, none.
I think it'll be under. Everybody's making the joke that because now that the release date is announced, there's going to suddenly be a flurry of release date trailers before like the major showcases.
No, they're going to save it for the showcase.
Yeah, I think they're going to save it for the showcase.
So if the over-under is 5.5, are you all taking the under now, knowing that?
Yes, for June 1st, I take under.
What if I push it down to 3.5? Would you still take it under, or would you go over?
Still under.
Still under.
Okay.
I think there might be one, and it's because they're like, haha, we'll be the one that released.
So you don't think anybody's going to jump on it right away? You think they're just going to wait till June?
Nope.
Yeah, I think
they're going to wait till June.
Everyone's keeping keeping their cards close until Summer Game Fest and everyone starts dropping, announcements.
Do I think somebody at Microsoft is updating their PowerPoint presentations like crazy right now?
Yes.
Yes.
100% over.
Over.
All right,
Oh my
fine.
God,
I'll do the real test. Over under of 1.5. Do you think PlayStation announces any games in the next month?
PlayStation? No.
I mean,
No, not
maybe.
PlayStation.
Who the hell knows? They dropped Ghost of Yote as a blog post.
Yeah, what the hell was that? They gave
I have-
Borderlands 4 a state of play, but Ghost of Yote a fucking blog post.
You don't understand. Everyone's looking forward to Borderlands 4, Chris.
I actually like conspiracy.
All right,
I have
fine.
no reason
Over
to
under
expect-
1.5. How many people are looking
Adam,
forward
let
to
me finish my
Borderlands
thought. I want to talk
4?
about Ghost of Yote for a second. So I have a suspicion, and I'm gonna put this out there because I know my opinion usually is the opposite. But I have concerns about Ghost of Yote. This is their biggest exclusive of the year remaining. I think probably actually their biggest release of the year.
Yeah.
Unless GTA has made them
And
go,
they're-
oh, we can drop this in November.
No, but like there's like very little like hype for it, right? Like they dropped the big announcement trailer with a release date a couple weeks, I think like a month
It's been
after State of Play
cricket
that was boring. And like they brought out like a collector's edition that like wasn't like advertised, has not been pushed at all. Like it just
I didn't even know
doesn't
there
have-
was one.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
It got announced like it got released this week, but it's like, why are they so poorly managing this? And I don't have any I don't. The studio's great. I love Ghost of Tsushima. It's one of the best games on the PS4. I have nothing but high expectations for Yote, but the way that PlayStation is handling this marketing makes me think like, what are you not seeing, or like, what do you know that I don't know?
I think the secret is when
I guess
they...
the only thing we can counter with is, well, South of Midnight, Clair Obscur, they didn't really get that much attention either, and here we are talking about Clair Obscur being Game of the Year, so you never know. That being said, I will say, for an open world game, I'm not assuming that much from Ghost of Yote in comparison to the other two.
See, I think, because if you take Xbox and PlayStation, there might be a pattern. You take PlayStation, I feel like they advertised Concord a fair bit. I feel like they're giving Marathon a lot of talk, and I feel like they're going to suck. Well, Concord did. It didn't even last, a week? And then Yote,
maybe the less they say is good.
Yeah.
I mean, that worked for Helldivers.
Well, that's true.
Helldivers got very little love, and look how that turned out.
Very little, yeah. And then if you take Xbox,
Actually, they got negative love after what PlayStation did to that fucking game.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. And it came back even harder. But yeah, you take Xbox, they've done the same thing. Because yeah, you got South of Midnight and stuff like that. Expedition 33, like hardly even mentioned. But like, how much did they push fucking Redfall? I feel like I watched like 17 hours worth of footage of that.
Maybe that's the key. The least a AAA company talks about their game, the better it must be, because they have no faith in it, which usually means it's not good. They don't think it's going to make the money.
Yeah, this one we don't have to put effort into.
Push it. This one though. This is the one that needs a special attention. Let's give that.
This is the problem child. We got to work on this one. We got to work on this one. Concord.
You know, we might be onto something here, actually.
Yeah, it's been there in front of us the whole time.
I gotta bounce. I will talk to you guys later.
That's all right. We're gonna end the show here anyway. So
okay, cool.
You guys know the drill. Obviously, here on YouTube, like and subscribe if you're listening on any audio platform: Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, all that jazz. Give us a like if you can. Give us a rating if you can. Share with all your friends. And obviously, you got our link tree at linktr.ee/PixelPlay Podcast. Friday side quest. Chris and I, with the arduous task of picking games to remake from the Dreamcast era. God, that was hard. I mean, we know Chris picked Sonic Adventure. That's the easy free space, but you know.
Yes, but my third game will surprise you the most.
There we go. That's the BuzzFeed journalism we need. All right, folks. Well, you enjoy the rest of your day wherever you may be. Take care. Bye-bye for now.